So, you're looking for a dog trainer in South Jordan. Yeah, it can feel like a huge task, but don't worry, you are in the right spot. We're going to break it all down for you, giving you a clear roadmap to find a great match for you and your dog. Life with a dog in South Jordan is pretty great, right? But it's also a really active place. You know what I mean? You're trying to walk through Mountain View Village with all the crowds, or maybe you're on a trail and cyclists are zipping by. You need a dog who can handle all that calmly. Think about it. Whether you're hanging out at the Daybreak Lake or walking the Jordan River Parkway, everything is just easier and a lot more fun when your dog is well behaved. And that's really what good training is all about. So, how do we get there? Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about training philosophies. Then, we'll get into the different programs and what they typically cost. After that, we'll cover the key questions you should be asking any trainer, and we'll wrap up with some specific South Jordan rules and resources you need to know. All right, let's start with the big one, training philosophy. Honestly, this is the foundation for everything, so it's a really important place to begin. Okay, so the gold standard in modern dog training is something called positive reinforcement. What does that actually mean? Well, it's pretty simple. You reward the behaviors you want to see instead of punishing the ones you don't. It's all about building a relationship based on trust, which makes learning feel like a fun game for your dog. And that brings us to the flip side. You really want to avoid any trainer who talks about using fear, intimidation, or pain. These methods are super outdated, and they can just make behavior problems even worse. They can really damage that trust you have with your dog. For a family town like South Jordan, we're aiming for a confident, happy dog, not one that's anxious or scared. Okay, so how do you know if a trainer actually knows their stuff? I mean, Utah doesn't require a state license for dog trainers. Well, that's where certifications come in. They're your best guide. A CPD TK is a great sign that they have a solid foundation of knowledge. Now, if you're dealing with more complex stuff like serious fear or aggression, you'll want to look for even more specialized credentials like a CBDC or a CBCCKK. Those show a much deeper understanding of dog behavior. All right, moving on to the practical stuff. What kinds of programs are out there and what can you expect to pay? This is all about finding what works for your goals and your budget. So, group class or private training? Which one's right for you? It really depends on your situation. Group classes are awesome for puppies and for learning basic manners. They're also great for practicing how to focus around other dogs, and they're usually pretty cost-effective. But if you're dealing with specific problems at home, like your dog darting out the front door or barking at the window, private training is probably the way to go. It's completely customized to your dog's needs, right where the problems happen. So let's talk numbers. This table gives you a general idea of the average costs you'll see around Salt Lake County. A 6-week puppy or obedience class is usually going to be in the $200 to $300 range. A single 1-hour private lesson, expect something around $100 to $180. And then you have board and train programs. Those are a much bigger financial commitment, but for some situations, that intensive training can be the right choice. Okay, let's say you found a trainer or two that you like the look of. What's the next step? You've got to interview them. So here is a checklist of the key questions you absolutely need to ask. Think of this as your 5-point inspection. First, ask them straight up about their training philosophy. You want to hear words like positive reinforcement. Second, ask about their certifications and if they do any continuing education. Third, and this is a big one, ask them how they plan to tailor their training to your specific dog and your lifestyle here in South Jordan. You also want to know how they track progress and, of course, get a clear breakdown of all the costs. No surprises wanted there. All right, let's wrap this up by talking about South Jordan itself, because training doesn't just happen in a class. It happens out in the real world. So let's go over the local rules and some great local resources. Okay, here's the number you really need to remember. 6, as in 6 feet. In South Jordan, your dog's leash can't be any longer than 6 feet in any public area. That includes all the city parks and even the Jordan River Parkway Trail. They are serious about this rule, so practicing that nice, loose leash walking on a standard 6-foot leash is a must. A few other local rules to keep in mind. Your dog always needs to have a current rabies tag on their collar. Also, if your dog barks and barks and barks, that's actually a noise nuisance, so training can definitely help keep things peaceful with the neighbors. The good news is that South Jordan doesn't have any breed-specific laws. All the rules are based on behavior, not breed. So, once you've got some training under your belt, where can you go to practice? Well, the South Jordan Dog Park is perfect for working on off-leash skills like recall in a safe, fenced-in area. The Jordan River Parkway Trail is a fantastic spot to practice that loose leash walking with lots of real-world distractions.
A busy place like Heritage Park is great for teaching your dog to settle down and be calm. And Daybreak, with all its different paths and settings, is perfect for making sure those skills work everywhere, not just at home.
So, after all this, it really comes down to one thing, doesn't it? What will having a well-trained dog actually mean for your life, right here in South Jordan? Well, it means you can take a relaxed walk through Mountain View Village without your arm being pulled out of its socket. It means you can have a calm conversation with a neighbor on the sidewalk without your dog jumping all over them. Really, it's about having the confidence to bring your dog along for the ride, to make them a bigger part of your daily life. We wish you the very best of luck finding that perfect trainer and building an incredible relationship with your dog.